We love this Henry X model 3030 so much. We got another Henry X model in 4570, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. I'm back yet again with Guy. Thanks for joining us, Guy.
Of course.
This time we're talking about Henry X model part 2 here on UltimateReloader.com. We've got quite a bit of Henry stuff that we've done and are doing right now.
Yes.
X model in 3030. We've got the big boy 357 Magnum lever gun.
Right. With
the stainless and charcoal hardwood kind of two-tone. Really like that one. That was a lot of fun.
It was. That thing is so fun to shoot.
38s, 357. Yeah, depending on how much capacity you want and how much kick you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Even the 357s, I remember, hardly kicked in that thing.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And right now we're working on 3 different content series with new firearms for the channel from Henry. We've got both variants of the big boy 357
Yes.
Magnum revolvers. We've got the steel lever action and 360 buckhammer, and this part 2 of our story with the X model. Now, ever since I shot Guy's 4570, I thought to myself, I need some of that action.
It is a fun cartridge to shoot.
Yeah.
It's been around 150 years, and it still does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, in one of Peter Milan's recent videos where he was hunting in South Africa, he shot an animal at, I think it was less than 10 yards or 10-ish yards. And his quote, I will quote, it was, "I could really use a 4570 right here in this dense brush." And so, you know, this kind of a rifle, really practical for ranch, for hunting, for plinking, for suppressed and non-suppressed shooting. Like this is a great platform.
Oh, it's a thumper. Yeah.
So let's not wait. Let's get this baby out of the box. Do you want to do the honors?
Sure. As soon as I can figure out how it opens. There we go. Wow. There we go.
Look at that.
And warning, check first.
Good man.
Very good. Oh boy. There you go.
This is what I call high power versatility, right? We've got the pick rail. Okay, so tell me about some of your thoughts on that. We were talking about this just the other day in 4570 with the pick on the bottom.
Well, I had a little old bear I was after one night. And I sure would have much rather had a flashlight mounted to my lever gun instead of just relying on my headlamp. And I think we need to put ourselves a good flashlight down here.
Well, do you remember my bear hunting story where I shot the bear, he ran into the bush tunnels? So we've got these dense bushes around here, right? And the bears literally make these tunnels through there.
Right.
They're almost like a perfect tunnel that you can crawl through. And there I am with a headlamp on my head and my 44 Magnum in one hand, crawling on my hands and my knees, looking for a wounded bear. That was freaky. I probably would have like hiked with this guy through the bushes, and if with a light, that would be awesome.
I went through some of those bear tunnels once with a 26-inch barreled 7 mag with 3.5 to 10 scope on it. And when I got in there, I realized very quickly I had the wrong kind of gun.
Yeah. Something like this. I just like the big thumper aspect of it. The fact that we reload, I'll let you take that back, is a huge plus.
Oh yeah.
Because this is an incredibly versatile platform, right?
It is. You can load them down real low and slow, or
Yep.
you can load some shoulder busting loads.
So
I mean your shoulder and the deer's shoulder.
Right. No, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So with this 4570, we've got some great stuff that we're going to talk about here. So first, this story, which is basically getting this rifle out of the box, getting it set up, doing some supersonic, subsonic, unsuppressed, and suppressed shooting, right? We've got some really awesome 350 grain 4570 bullets, the round nose ones from Barry's Plated Bullets. We're going to be doing some loading with and some ballistics testing. And then from Hornady, we got a ton of stuff. We've got FTX bullets. We've got brass. We've got factory ammo with the 325 FTX and the 410 grain sub X.
Right.
So that and our Banish 46 is going to round out the picture here. It's going to be totally, totally awesome. So lots of shooting, lots of loading, lots of action in this series. Let's get down to specs real quick before we shoot. So 4 rounds capacity. This is a monster cartridge.
It is a big cartridge, no doubt about it. Yeah.
We've got, just like the other X model, the synthetic stock, which has swivel stud features built right in. It's got some M-LOK. Again, if we had an M-LOK light, we could use that right there on the side. Blued steel, action in barrel and magazine, 19.8 inches barrel length, which is a pretty handy size, I would say.
That is, and that's somewhere in between the little 16-inch ones that some of the guns come with, the real stubby ones, and then you've got 22, 24-inch, and in the past have been even longer.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, good stuff. 1 in 20 twist. Now that's something new. This is my first 4570, so this is news to me.
That's a decent twist for 4570. Yeah. That'll work.
Gotcha. Very good. Overall length of 38.6 inches, which is a lot like the other, models that we've got. Let's grab this guy just for comparison. Do a little bit of a side by side.
Roughly the same length without the suppressor there. This is a tiny bit shorter.
Interesting. Yeah. Obviously, the barrel's going to end right there. If we had the suppressor off, comes with a thread protector like it's pictured. Fully adjustable fiber optic sight, which is really good for those low visibility kind of situations.
It is, and a lot of game activity is early in the morning, maybe even pre-dawn, and a lot of game activity at dusk. So you might need that fiber optics on your sights. Yep,
and just like a lot of our other Henrys, we've got the drilled and tapped receiver and compatible with Weaver 63B. So just the absolute industry standard for lever gun optics mounting.
Right.
Very, very good. And we will be taking advantage of that for sure. 14-inch length of pull, transfer bar. This is, again, a lot of the common features we've been talking about with our other Henry lever guns. And Henry lists it as good for target shooting, hunting, large game, collector/deer, bears, hogs, moose, and elk at 100 yards.
People have even taken elephant with the 4570.
Wow. This is a heavy hammer. I absolutely love it. Yeah, 5/8 24 threading, which is good because our Banish 46 is threaded 5/8 24, and the fiber optic sights rounds it out. Yeah, so check out our X model and 3030 stories, because we did a full overview of that rifle, and we're going to be doing some of the same stuff like the trigger scan testing later in the video so that we can compare the results.
Yes, very, very similar rifle, just a lot bigger cartridge.
Right. So, without further ado, let's go shoot.
Oh, yeah.
So we got our loophole 2 to 10, and we've got our Banish 46. Let's have some fun.
Sounds good to me.
Let's see, we've got a steel target over there. I'm gonna have a few more.
Oh yeah.
I think I'll go subsonic now.
Okay. Nice.
Getting my form down here.
Sound like the dinner bell. Nice, good hit.
That sounds amazing, doesn't it?
You know, that it does. They're only a little over 1,000 feet per second. But that's 410 grains of bullet.
Oh yeah.
So it's making an impact.
Okay, it's your turn.
Okay.
Nice.
Back to this one.
There we go.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Missed one.
That's it's subsonic, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That is a lot of fun. So these 325s, they advertise a muzzle velocity of I think 1800. Something like that. 2000, but that's with a longer barrel. Yeah, it's a little low there. Ah!
The deer ran away up there.
That was fun. Yep, didn't fill that tag.
I gotta do it one more time.
Go for it. That barrel's getting warm.
I bet. There we go. Nope, it's not off the left. Oh man, I can see that thing smoking.
Yeah.
through the scope.
I think it's given a lot today.
Yeah.
It really has. That's a lot of shooting.
Nice.
What a fun gun.
Yeah, it's good stuff. This is a manly gun.
It's big. We made it heavier with our accessories.
Yep.
That's not exactly all bad because a little 45-70 can churn up some recoil.
Right. Now, we did steal the scope rail from our other X model because I haven't gotten another one yet. But what I would really like to compare is the silencer central backcountry on the 3030. Mm-hmm. And this is Cummins turbo diesel, right?
It is.
Right?
It is.
We got a Honda Civic on the one side, light and nimble. Yay.
When you got a big job, take the big gun.
Big bear in your way, take the Cummins turbo diesel, do the big towing job, right? Yeah, no, but seriously, this has got so much more energy and so much more thump, produces a lot of heat. It would be really kind of cool, I think, to have that lighter weight, a little bit more nimble, you know, less heat generating setup, and just kind of feel the difference between the two.
Why not?
Yeah, and then with loads and, you know, different
I've got some hand loads. I got some hand loads for the 45-70. Oh, nice. Yeah. Everything from real mild all the way up to some, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That kind of load.
Cool. Awesome. Finally, we got to go shooting. It took a few days, but we did it. That was fun.
It was a blast, literally. and not all of it was much of a blast.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a moment. Before we talk about the shooting session in depth, I'll mention the scope that we selected and a brief, overview of the installation of that. So we just were using the Leupold Mark V HD 2-10 on Shorty, the 308. Mm-hmm. And that was a part of your recent features with that rifle and 30 cal versatile bullets and all that kind of stuff. I felt like at this magnification range, wouldn't that be a great option for the 45-70?
And it's interesting, having been shooting lever guns for a long time and doing some hunting with them, I usually prefer the much lower powered scopes. Mm-hmm. But shooting this with this 2-10, that worked. Yeah. That worked. It's very, very bright scope, got a lot of light in there.
Yeah.
Incredibly clear optics.
Yep.
I get them. It's a little bigger and bulkier than I like on my lever guns, but it's really good.
Yeah, and it uses a special 35 millimeter tube, so we have 35 millimeter rings. We also considered the cantilever mount, which we'll show at a later date, probably on an AR, I'm thinking, like an AR-10 maybe.
Oh, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. This scope is totally robust. I think it really goes with the whole theme of take it out into the wilderness and you never know what you're going to encounter. We did use magnification based on what we were doing. And we also were dialing because the point of impact was different between our supersonic ammo and our subsonic ammo. Even at 50, we had to dial up 0.6. So that's a meaningful difference in point of impact.
Yeah, got to check that. If you zero with one kind of ammo and want to use the other kind, got to go check that and see where the heck you're hitting.
Yep. Now, we also had some fun with blowing stuff up, right?
We did. You know, it's a big gun throwing big bullets, and you just got to blow stuff up with it.
And when you blow stuff up, you got to get out the high-speed camera. Why don't you tell us about what it is that you shot on the high-speed camera and what we learned looking at that footage?
We shot cinder block, and we shot water jugs, and we shot watermelon, along with, of course, the steel targets.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun. We did all of that, I believe, with the supersonic ammo, the 325 grain FTX, and I am glad it doesn't do that to a deer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
literally.
We made a big mess out of watermelon, pulverized the cinder blocks, and the water jugs were interesting. I was hoping we'd wind up catching the remnants of the bullet in there, but it didn't. It veered off and went out the side. That happens sometimes you're using water jugs or our gel blocks. It'll happen sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. You never know where the bullet's going to go.
No, it obliterated the first one, and the next three it destroyed, and it never made it to number 5.
What I'd like to do is to do the high-speed camera again with the 4570 and do all of the pine boards, you know?
Yes.
Stack them up like, I don't know, an inch apart or whatever it is, and then just to see the absolute destruction and see if the bullet would go straight, you know, in that scenario. That'd be kind of fun.
And if you want that real straight penetration and deep penetration, there's other kinds of bullets we can look at that either don't expand at all or very limited expansion. Stuff we're using yesterday has been pretty fast expanding bullets, which is great for some applications, not necessarily for the deepest penetration.
Right. So another sort of variable with the rifle setup was the suppressor. So we shot it with and without the scope.
Right.
And if you're shooting it without the suppressor, the sights work great on this thing.
They do. They stand. It was kind of a dull day, a lot of overcast that day, and as soon as you shouldered the rifle, those high vis sights there, you know, they pop. There they are.
I'm thinking deep woods. That bear's 10 feet from you, and you have to do something quick.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna. I mean, at 10 feet, you probably don't need the sights. You know.
Right, but
say it's 50 feet or 50 yards.
Yeah, you can get a good clear sight picture in a hurry with these sights.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. And then when you throw the Banish 46 on, it's kind of covering up that front sight. So then we decided it's optics time, right? Basically a pretty simple process. I know you stole the rail from the other X model, the 3030. Yep. Get the rings on, get them where we want them. We checked eye relief, and then got the scope in place, double checked eye relief, torqued the rings down carefully. One trick I like to do is I hold the ring down on one side and I tighten on the opposite side, and then I'm watching as the ring starts to move to make sure the gaps are where I want them to be.
Right.
Then you hold that and go to the opposite corner and then tighten it down until it's finger tight. Now we have kind of a nice starting point, you know, and then we go through and do the leveling process on this. We used a level on the top of the turret here, and we had to do that because there wasn't enough room under the scope, between the rail and the scope, for a parallel to slide under there. Got it level, went through our sort of cylinder head torquing pattern, right?
Yes.
Opposite corners. So, and then confirmed. This is about where we wanted it, and it's kind of right up against the front ring. So again, I think the cantilever would be a really good option on this as well, and that would allow us to have perhaps a little bit more room.
Yeah, it's not too far back, but another ½ inch farther forward would, especially if we're going to load up some of those shoulder thumper loads.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so segue on scope install done. Let's go back to the shooting. I found this rifle to shoot real pleasant. I was surprised at the lack of abuse of recoil. Maybe that's the butt pad. The suppressor toned it down a little bit, I noticed.
It did. Suppressor toned down the recoil and also added some weight to the rifle. So between those two things, you've got less recoil. Yeah, it's a comfortable rifle to shoot.
Yeah. Okay, so another part of our shooting exercise was to gather chronograph data. Look at these numbers. Our 325s were going just about exactly twice the velocity as our sub-X subsonic ammo.
Yeah, and that was noticeable, especially with the suppressor on there, because you still get a bit of a bark from the supersonic stuff, and then you shoot that sub-X through it, and mostly what we'd hear is the clang of the steel target.
Oh yeah, it's very loud and very visually apparent. That's the biggest thing I noticed about the Big Thumper here, is when you hit the target, you know you hit it. You know where you hit it, you know, the way it dances and that kind of thing. So 1840 for the 325s, 993 for the 410 sub-X. SD of only 8.5.
That floored me.
On the 325s.
A single-digit SD.
Precision rifle territory for
yes,
SD.
Yes. Good job, Hornady, on that ammo. And,
Absolutely.
you know, good job, Henry, for building us a nice, reliable, accurate rifle. But wow, if I'm down in single digits, I'm just about ready to jump up and down and shout and celebrate, because that's just awesome.
Crazy, and extreme spread of 24.1. Now the 410 sub-X was not quite as consistent. SD of 33.8 and 90.3 extreme spread, and we saw even more than that on one of the strings. I didn't know if you know, we were being consistent with, you know, charging the suppressor first, or if we had an anomaly going on. This is where I think hand loading will be interesting, is to see, you know, with this rifle we have a little bit more headroom on our powder charge. We could probably go up to 1050 maybe, based on where we're at altitude-wise with the speed of sound and all that.
Yeah, I did. I've been hand loading the 4570 for over 20 years, and a couple of years ago I did some subsonic hand loading for it. So we've got a database to build on.
Yeah, yeah, good solid data here. Good starting point. Really great performance for close quarters for either scenario. You know, either one is going to take care of what it needs to.
Oh yeah.
Here, it'd be interesting. Like, how far out have you shot a 4570? Would you say?
A couple hundred yards.
Yeah.
And that's all. And it's funny because I have friends of mine who've taken those big single shot rifles with the target sights, not scopes. They're shooting it at 1,000 yards.
Whoa.
And it just takes forever for that bullet to get there.
Right.
I don't know how many. I'd have to calculate how many feet high that bullet is at some point before it arcs down into their silhouette out there at 1,000 yards. Yeah, they're doing that and making it happen.
That's crazy. Really interesting. And so the shooting was great, and we're going to do a lot more of that. Back in the lab here, if we want to call it that, we put the X model on the trigger scan and ran it through a few scans. Now look at how consistent this is.
Time after time.
Yeah, this is one of the most consistent triggers that we've tested in a while. And the key metrics, peak force of 3.77 pounds, which is, for me, I think about where I want it for a lever gun.
You know, and yeah, it's a hunting rifle of sorts, or maybe a camp defense rifle or something.
Yep.
And there's no reason to have a 2-ounce jewel target trigger on here. No, it doesn't need to be that way. It's fine. And I think that some more use, it'll smooth out some more.
Yeah.
But it's not. I hope it doesn't lighten up much, because I like that too.
Yeah.
3.7, 3.5 maybe.
It's intentional,
right? That's fine.
When you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Travel to actuate was 51 thousandths of an inch, which is pretty typical for our Henry guns, and over travel was 29 thousandths of an inch. Now, what I thought would be interesting would be to take the data from our original X model story for the 3030 and put that side by side with what we just acquired for the 4570, and that's what we have here. Now, these charts are a little bit deceiving because the 3030 has different bounds on the data, on the force range and on the travel range. Interestingly, 3.6 pounds, 3.5 pounds for the 3030,
very
and we
similar.
were about 3.7 pounds for the 4570. So, yeah, you're not going to notice the difference on a lever gun out in the field, you know.
I don't think so.
And both of them nice and consistent. This one, interestingly, just a little bit more consistent. The lines are completely overlapping, including in the post hammer drop portion, which is essentially like a vibration of the gun on the instrument. You can see that kind of zigzag going on there. So good stuff there. This has been a great overview. You know, we've put this rifle through its paces. Banish 46 is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, we used this on the 338 Lapua. I swapped out the 3/4 24 direct thread adapter for the 5/8/24 direct thread adapter, so we can very easily swap back and forth. You were mentioning how much it changed the handling of the rifle with the weight way out there.
It does. It does. Your lever guns, one of the things I really like about them is that they're pretty light and quick handling for the most part. And this changed that dramatically. But would I still hunt with it like that? Yes, in some scenarios.
Yeah. And we can take off this threaded extension here, right? So what I'm wondering, if we take this off and then we take the cap off and put it into its shorter config, like we've done with the Banish 30, right? There's the 7-inch config and there's the 9-inch config for that. Would that be the sweet spot? Try it with some supersonic ammo and some subsonic. See if that's meeting the goal. I'm guessing it's going to. That's a lot of length reduction there. So that's going to be another thing to try. What else are you thinking with all this?
Well, they're hand loading for different types of game and also for different kinds of target shooting, perhaps. And then I take a 45-70 with me a lot when I go to, say, Grand Tetons or that general area for fly fishing and wildlife photography. And I have my 45-70 in camp because there's a lot of big furry critters out there that might try to eat somebody.
Right.
So I would just as soon not be furry critter bait. And it just stays in camp, and that's fine.
Yep.
It's there if I need it. And so I want a flashlight on it.
Nice.
For the night.
We've got the Picatinny rail right here.
Be very easy to mount a light on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this would be a great overall general purpose ranch defense weapon. You know, I could see it in the side-by-side with the scabbard or something like that. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, yeah. You know, and a lot of guys still like their lever actions on the horse because it's nice and flat, doesn't have that bolt sticking out.
Right.
And you can have that on horseback on a scabbard, and it's a lot easier to deal with.
Right. No, really, really good stuff. I think the hand loading will be fun. I haven't loaded for the 45-70 yet, so it'll be fun to look at powders and different bullets. I know we have some Hornady brass. We have the brass that we shot using this ammo, some FTX bullets, some Sub-X bullets. You know, so we got quite a bit to experiment with here.
Yeah, I've got quite an assortment of 45-70 bullets.
Nice. On
the spectrum from 250 grains up to, I think my heaviest ones I have right now are 405s.
Very cool. So. This is going to be fun. Now, what we'd like to know from you is, do you have an X model? Do you have an X model in 45-70? What do you think of it? What do you think of the setup that we've got here with the X model in 45-70, Mark V HD, 2-10, Banish 46. This is, to me, this is a really sexy package and very utilitarian, right?
It is.
I'm attracted to things that are, you know, form follows function. This is a very robust setup end to end. And then finally, the second question for you all is, what are your loads for the 45-70? Are you working subsonic? What are you loading for that? Are you sticking with supersonic? Tell us why, tell us what you're loading, tell us what you're using it for. Drop a comment, we'll start the discussion. Thank you, Guy, for being a part of this and driving this effort. For you all out there, don't forget, we've also got our steel lever action, Henry, in 360 Buckhammer, and we've also got both of the 357 Magnum big boy revolvers, the bird's head grip and the gunfighter grip. And so all of these stories are going to be published here on the channel pretty soon. Just make sure that you check out those other stories as well.
They have been a lot of fun working with all those guns.
Oh yeah.
So looking forward to getting that out to you all.
Thanks for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles and Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.